shout, no, every day this chicken, why? They started to shout, because they were so frustrated. Why I'm getting chicken drumstick, and sometimes they are like pinky size.
Okay, Bravo, take note. Can start unlocking hero image.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I'm David King. I've been missing for a very, very, very long time. Today's channel, something interesting. As I'm juggling a lot of things, I came across this docu series in MeWatch or Channel News Asia in Singapore. So many people are fascinated about it. Of course, being a prison, they have their own limitations to tell you certain things, and maybe I can give you a better insight into this, a different perspective. Now, I do not want the prison to sue me in any way. Of course, it's just a video to explain a bit more because I've been in prison. I've been in prison for 8 years of my life with 18 strokes of the cane. And I believe I can give you a slice of what was going on in the mind of a prisoner, which will make more realization, awareness, how we can understand these things more. Of course, my bigger perspective of all this is to make sure that people don't go to prison. People know the consequences. Of course, I'll make it as fun as I can. I'll tell you some of these jargons that we use, this language that we use in prison. I'll tell you some of the thinking that we have, some of our challenges that we go through. I want to tell you and let you experience from a real person's experience without a formal censored interview. This is the uncensored. I'm going to go through the whole series of this 4-part documentary or docu-series, and I give you part of slice 1 in this video, and then we go on and on and on. Okay, so before that, Happy New Year to all of you. 2022, wish you all the best for the year. Let's head on and let's move. I know you might not be a Liverpool fan, but I am. And if you're a Man U fan, I'm sorry, but please continue to watch my videos. Many years ago, maybe in the 90s, 80s, 90s, you had cigarettes in prison, in Changi prison, the old Changi prison where it's not like covered, where you can't even see sunlight. Last time you have them, you go to yard and you have fresh sun on your skin. In the old Changi, I heard there's even a bread museum where they use bread. Okay, prisoners are super creative because there's so much time and they are so creative. They even have a museum where they've created so many products or stuff, art with bread alone. So that was part of the old Changi. But that's one main thing. Life is much more hard right now than in the past.
Outside you can smell like, the bus field, the grass, the trees, cigarette smell, perfumes. Prison you only can smell like walls.
Now, first thing first, we are looking at this character, a real person called Kai. And I think one of the main thing that he said was, just in the early part, where he said he can vastly smell the field. Imagine you see sunlight, you see the field, but you just can see. I think this is a way to reform, the offenders by telling them how harsh prison can be. So one of the reformative way is to tell them you can't even touch sunlight. No sun, no smelling of fresh trees and fresh field unless you are peeping into that small area and looking there.
It's a one-man cell and you're all alone in the cell. That loneliness, when you can't express yourself, when you need to talk to someone, you're stuck.
Think about prison, right? You can most likely in this kind of cell size, you can only be maximum 3. And I think the cluster is 4, maybe. You can see it as 4. So you can be one, you can be three, you can be four, but you cannot be two. Because two can be, and then something wrong can happen. So that's why you cannot be two-man cell. And even if you're three-man cell and one person has to go to the doctor or to somewhere else, the two will be split into different cells. You cannot be in a two-man cell. Being in a one-man cell is not something you really want. Three people, you can actually talk to each other. Four people, you have someone to talk to you, but you have just no one. Imagine you are like castaway, and there is no even Wilson to be beside you to talk, and only the walls. Sooner or later, you think you are starting to hear voices from the walls. It's something that I personally feel very afraid. I don't like to be alone in a cell. Maybe 1 2 days still okay, but if it's few months, some people they are adjusted. They feel that they're happy alone. But as for me, no, I feel very, very intimidated when I'm in a one man cell.
This is my home. Usually this is my area of sleeping. Usually I don't wear clothes on because inside this cell it's very hot.
Mr. Boon King here, it's he's in his prison cell and he's lying on a straw mat. This is what we call tikka. We not the chicken tikka. This is tikka, mostly Malay Singlish lah. We use a lot of Malay words in prison, so we call it tikka. We don't call it straw mat. Oh, this is a straw mat. No, we don't do that. We just call it tikka lah. And lying down on the surface, of course, is quite a tough surface. So although he woke up about 5 6, they switch off the lights. But if you have switched lights off, and when lights off, that's one of the best time, because in a prison cell it's warm. You will be sweating even though you are not exposed to sun. So you will be sweating, and if I'm not wrong, if you're on the top floor, even more, because you're more nearer to the sun. So you will sweat quite a bit. And when the lights are off, you sweat lesser and it's a bit more cooling lah. So that's the best time. But if you are a special ward, like murder case, such as the recent one that you saw, where this father killed the two children or one child, or two of them were dead. When he was coming back, he was wearing a red cloth, red t-shirt. That's all the special watch, and their lights are never closed because they might just kill themselves. So they are not allowed to close their lights. I mean, we don't have the power, but the lights will forever be on, till the day they are sentenced, and see what happens after that. Yep. So for this rest, we get lights off to a certain point of time, and after lights off, you cannot be awake and do nonsense, because they will come and check. Okay. So over here also we see Boon King showering, and you see that kind of that pipe where there's like 4 or 5 sprinklers coming out. Imagine, especially you see a large body like me, half my body also haven't showered. By the time it's already half the time given is off already. Last time when it wasn't like this. When I was in Tanah Merah, we had water gushing out. We had a good bath. We really enjoyed our bath. But when I was here for a short stint as well. When I was here, transferred this prison for a short stint, actually because I was there for a poem competition that Yellow Ribbon selected me, and I get a chance to be in cluster. But mainly I was in Tanah Merah and Kaki Bukit Prison School. So life was a bit better over there. But over here, it's more tough, but I get to experience it. And eventually they changed it in Tanah Merah prison as well. So you have this sprinkler kind of water, and you're given like about 40 minutes, like 3 people in Tanah Merah prison, and 40 minutes. So each person will take about 10 minutes. And then we take our, the where we put our barang, all our boxes inside, we empty it. So we keep one to fill up water. Eventually they ban it. They said this is also so-called this is called illegal to keep water. But earlier part they did allow us to keep water. I think now they still allow us to keep water. Like so, within the 40 minutes, you must shower quickly. We will be very fast as we shower in front of each other, and then we will use the water to preserve and save the water so that later on, in case we sweat a lot, we can use it to shower or we can use it to wash ourselves from our business. So we need that box of water as well on top of showering. Now he over here has the luxury of time. If you're given 40 to 45 minutes, but you're one person, you can relax and just shower. But no, not in a four-man cell, not in a three-man cell. So time limit is one thing. I don't think they have said about time limit here, but yes, this is one of the struggles that you will go through.
7:15, we have started with a mindfulness practice. So there is a music we'll play.
Wow, not bad. They have music has been shown to improve inmates' mental health, and they give classical sentimental music. Not bad. Of course, there were times we hated certain music. It can be quite irritating and annoying after they repeat the same music over and over again. So even though it looks like very relaxing, if they're not going to change the music, it's every day is the same music. I tell you, it will no more be relaxing. It will be the total opposite. So I'm not sure. Do they change the music now? Um, well, one of the things that we like to do was to sing. Even though usually they don't ban us lah from singing or call it illegal. So if we have good singers, wow, I'll tell you, we have radio on all the way.
So our breakfast usually consists of 4 pieces of bread. So they will pass it through our full ledge.
Morning, bro.
Good morning. Then we will take our mug. So put it here. Once we given our destination tea or coffee, then we will bring in. After this door will close.
And then of course breakfast comes, right? So these people who give these foods, of course we call them a special name. I think it's not even stated there, but we call them this very unique name called cookie. Yeah, we call them cookie. So they serve the bread and of course the tea, and I tell you, sometimes, when you have your own gang members serve you, maybe you get an extra slice of bread or a bit more extra tea, a second round of tea. In prison terms, we call it chap merah. Okay, chap merah. So there's a lot of chap merah that goes on without the prison's officers' knowledge. But they are all small things lah. Of course, there are big things that happen as well, but mostly it's the small things, Mostly it's gang members passing to gang members because, you gang member, you have to like support each other. Mostly, very rare people do it for friends, or unless you're very best friends lah. But mostly it's gangs. You don't know each other also. You are still same gang. You still get something nice from them if they are cookies lah. But of course, they have to also protect themselves. They don't want to lose their job.
Per day, we have over 2 meals, lunch and dinner, approximately about 7,000 to 8,000 meals prepared for prison officers, volunteers and inmates. In this kitchen, the meals are prepared by inmate kitchen workers. People might wonder if it's safe for inmates to use this type of tools in this workshop. But as you can see, the tools here, they are chained. When they come to the kitchen, right, we'll monitor their attitude and their performance.
In prison, we actually don't use the word kitchen most of the time. We say dapo, another Malay word. So we say dapo, we're going to work in dapo. So dapo means it's kitchen, in Malay. So we're getting to work in kitchen is a bit of a privilege because you might get extra food, a little bit more better pay than a cookie, right? But naturally, people who are working there, most of them, I might be wrong, but I think naturally a lot of them are quite big size lah. Got a lot of food bread, food, extra plate, extra rice. So they eat lah because that's one of their benefit, for extra food that's available to them. Not everyone it's plus size, but there are is more susceptible to be. Of course, there's another better place to work where you have more higher quality food, which is called I think it's called the tea room, and then it's called a tea boy or something like that, where you are specially catered to cook or prepare food for the officers. And so imagine you can a little bit nibble here and there, you get a little bit more premium food than prison food. Now, one thing you realize that some of these sauces are very sus, right? Like what color gravy is that? It's like the New York chicken curry where nobody will accept that as chicken curry in Singapore. We don't even have a Singapore chicken curry, but anyway, that's another story. But over here, even though Singapore prison has a bit of better chicken curry than the New York chicken curry, but most of the time the other gravy, you really don't know what gravy is that. It's just yellow or gray or brown, random colors. So you really don't know what other soup is made of. And the days that I really feel very sad eating is the day when I get like fish. Sometimes they come in like a nugget size, no, but it's fish, huh? You know, noodles actually. I mean, this guy gives zero.
So Wednesday afternoon, usually we eat mee or bihun. So today is mee goreng. This one is like totally, if give point 0 to 10, I would say maybe 0.
But for me, I'm still okay with noodles. Maybe he gives no taste, or maybe this place there's no taste, but I'm still okay with mee goreng. Last time we have the mee thai bar, oh, that one even better. Mainly last time, Monday and Fridays, we have mutton for the Malays and Indians. And for the Chinese, we have pork, you know. Sometimes we will exchange plate lah, we kind of make it possible in the past. But however, they cut away all mutton and pork, because it's unhealthy lah. Sometimes when they change the regime, right, from the mutton to pork, they started to give chicken drumstick every day, almost every day, until my neighbors, like my neighboring prison cells, they started to, shout, no, every day this chicken, why, they started to shout, because they were so frustrated why I'm getting chicken drumstick, and sometimes they are like pinky size, quite small size, or your, index finger size. They're quite small. When I was in Kaki Bukit Prison School, I used to have good chicken rice, like Singapore chicken rice and Singapore nasi lemak, once a month or something like that on Sundays. That was like the highlight of the month. And we have barley drink, with all the the barley, the seed. Wow, as we munch on it, that was one of the best times when we had in prison. Not so to entice you to go prison, huh? These are simple things that we have to really appreciate. When I first go in, I didn't even, before I go prison, I never even liked vegetables. Vegetables were never my thing. When I went prison, food was so scarce and I had no choice because I'm hungry. I learned to appreciate every single vegetable, and I've never stopped appreciating vegetables after going to prison. Don't use this as an excuse to tell your children you have to go prison so you will start eating your vegetables. Don't use that. But yes, I did appreciate vegetables after only going behind bars. Even the toothpaste, all these things now are transparent. As you will realize that it doesn't even have like a proper, it makes me wonder lah, are they giving, will they give them a lot of dental issues if you're using this for thousand, will it give a lot of dental issues if they have been used it for many, many years, Last time it wasn't in transparent color, this toothpaste. Not talking about the cover, but the inside content in itself. Last time it was used to be yellow. I think people start to smuggle things inside, kind of sabo it lah. So that's why now it's transparent. See, slipper is transparent, toothbrush is small, you know, towel is small. People use that also, you know, they use towels to hang themselves. This has happened before, even in the prison cell that I was in many years ago. Yeah. So these kind of things have happened, and it's something that you should not want to go through. So I think they are taking a lot of precaution. Over here, if you see the toilet, you know, it's like a squatting down, you know. In Tanah Merah, when I was in, it was at least sitting down toilet bowl, you know, while I was in Khalsa Crescent, KCD. And the worst part, you know, I don't know whether they still do that allegedly now, but in the past, we used to drink from the toilet bowl. Ew! Disgusting, right? Yes, because water was so scarce. Last time they give us a bucket, a small bucket to fill up. So if four of us in the room or three of us in the room, we use that to sustain water in our body for the next whole day until the next day they replenish us with water. So imagine one or two bucket fall down, wow, die. And then we have to use paper to cover it. We don't want any, you know, dust to go in. And small bucket, no. Each one has one bucket. Uh, and that's the water. And it will be never enough because it's warm inside. It's so warm. So what we do is, even though we do business there, we will use our, you know, they have, we clean it ourselves, lah. You know, with soap and scrub, and then we scrub it, make sure clean everything inside because the water will come out when we will drink from there. Yes. I am not sure they still do that now, but you see, water is still very scarce, it's still very hot, and if you have not enough water, then how? So I don't know how about that. What's the water content? Because there's not a lot of water. Okay, so that's one of the big challenge, how you sustain yourself. And when you're hungry and you don't have food that you want, water sustains you. And you don't have water, then toilet bowl water then. So this is one of the worst thing that I've experienced in prison. Drinking from the toilet bowl. Yucks. One thing I really like is that, yes, there's definitely censorship here and there, but they still allow some of the opinions to come out, you know, and give a bit of a reality and the real thing about the prison's point of view, you know. So that's one good thing. I think that's why it makes this docu-series very successful. You know, so many people are watching it, so many people are fascinated by it because it's real, and we really never get to see prison ever in Singapore, how it looks like for, I think, forever. It's like the first time ever they are willing to really do it and give a real slice of a prison life. Really, really good docu-series. And I think this video should be shown in all the schools to all the youth at risk, you know, and let them reflect on this. They really should. Your ultimate freedom is taken away. You know, when we go prison, freedom is taken away from everything. But this is like your ultimate freedom. You can't even be alone, be with yourself. You need someone who's watching over you over camera.